Faithful viewers, thank you for coming back after mile 10 on how to win friends and influence people. Today we move on to Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Now, Think and Grow Rich was one of those reads that I did it fairly quickly because I personally believe that a lot of it is fluff, okay? Now, I don't mean that in a bad way. It is an excellent read, especially, for instance, if this was your first read, I'll read through every single word. But it's one of those books that has a lot of value when it comes to changing your mindset. But I already got that from Rich Dad, Poor Dad and some other books that I've read. All right, but Think and Grow Rich is all about exactly that. Can a person actually just think and grow rich? The idea behind it is, you've seen The Secret, it's kind of similar to that except for actually actions going towards you actually thinking. Basically, there's a difference between want and desire. Most people in this world, they want something. I used to be one of those people. I just wanted things. I wanted them, and I would do a little bit of something and think that I was going to get it, right? If I was being an actor, I would maybe do a monologue once a week, right? There's a difference between want and desire. If I truly desired it, where that was the thing that I had to get at all costs, I wouldn't be doing one monologue a week. I would wake up every morning doing a different monologue, filming it until it was perfected, putting it on a disc with my resume, and then going to casting directors' houses and just putting it on their doorstep, finding out when they're going to be at Starbucks. And so maybe I could just sit at Starbucks every single day, and they notice me and eventually strike up a conversation because I read How to Win Friends and Influence People. Or I realized that it's all about networking. So I should have read that 10 years ago so I can learn that when I meet someone, I actually know how to win their way of thinking, how to win them as a friend and influence them to what I was thinking. That's the difference between want and desire. People everywhere, people want things. They want to be rich. They want to be happy with their relationships. They want to go to the Grand Canyon. They want a convertible. But there's a difference between want and desire. I firmly believe this now because I actually absolutely want a lot of things, but never had the desire to get them. And it has changed my entire mentality. Every action that I do is to get what I think. Every single action. I told myself I am going to make $4,000 this month. Now, some of you are like, $4,000, that's easy. But from a person that was only making around 2 to 2.5, maybe if that's what came around, it's a huge difference between, I'm just going to get this much. But especially if you're starting your own business. Today alone, I made $1,300. It's insane. And I told people that I'm going to make this much. And by the end of the week, if I haven't made this much, I'm going to come up with ways to make this much because it is desire. It is an absolute need. I have, like Tony Robbins says, I have raised my standards. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins is coming soon. But there's a difference between want and desire. If you truly just constantly think about something, it becomes a desire, and you start to come up with the actions that are necessary in order to make that desire become a reality. Okay? That is the whole idea behind Think and Grow Rich. Okay? Now, there are 13 main principles, which we are going to go over right now. All right, so the first 3 principles we're going to go over fairly quickly because we have already kind of discussed them in the introduction. The first step is desire. The difference between want and desire. The second one is faith. Having faith that what you're actually going towards is actually going to come true. Knowing that if you just keep on that beaten path, eventually you're going to come to the sunny hillside that you're striving for. And then once you get there, you realize that you actually had fun on the actual beaten path, right? So having faith that actually what you're trying to do is actually going to come true. The third one is autosuggestion. Now, this can come in the form of visualizations or affirmations, but basically visualizing every day what you want to happen. Now, that seems like a lot of metaphysical bullshit, but actually it's not. People every single day think negatively. They complain. They bitch all the time. They complain about their bills. They complain about this. And what happens? Well, it usually turns out that negative things end up happening to them. But a person who thinks positively all the time and sees this positive outcome in everything, usually tends to have more positive things eventually happen to them. And they eventually start seeing the opportunities. I think this is the main point. Seeing the opportunities that are out there because you're constantly visualizing what you want. Desire, faith, auto-suggestion, first three. So the next three, we have specialized knowledge. I can desire and want something all I want, but if I don't have the knowledge to make that happen, it's not going to happen. So, for instance, I desire to be a keynote and platform speaker. I want to share my story with the world. I want to become a more effective communicator and travel the world doing what I love doing, which is speaking to you guys. But in order to do that, I have to have specialized knowledge, which is the point of this blog, reading, getting the skills that I need in order to make something happen. Number two, imagination. Now, one of the things about Think and Grow Rich, it gets a little metaphysical here when it talks about, deeping into this infinite pool of knowledge from your unconscious mind and all that stuff. But basically, the idea is imagination. There's two different types of imagination. There's creative imagination and there's organized imagination. Basically, how to organize and put concepts together and creating those concepts. So, basically, use your imagination. You need to talk to someone specific. You need to, for instance, there was no speakers around this area for me to speak to that I thought were the type of level that I need to speak to. Basically saying they didn't have the caliber of knowledge that I needed. So what I did is I just Googled speakers in Austin, and I saw this podcast. And the next thing you know, I sent out an email and I'm speaking to someone who gives me advice. So far it's been on a once a week basis, which has been awesome. And his name, Tom Singer, he has a podcast called The Cool Things That Entrepreneurs Do, and so, I got in contact with him, so I used my imagination. I was like, I don't have it, I'm going to go find it. All right. And then step 4 is basically organized planning. 1 year plan, 5 year plan, 10 years plan, having deadlines, making it happen. The next 3 is a big one. Decision. Listen to Steve. A lot of what Steve Jobs says. Your ability to make decisions is pretty much limited in your head. Why do you think Steve Jobs wore the same turtleneck and same blue jeans since 1962? Because that's one less decision that he had to make. He probably ate the same meals every single day. The reason is because he didn't have to make those decisions. A lot of people get in the habit of indecision. They don't know how to make decisions. They're like, I want this, but maybe I want this, but maybe I want this, or that looks good too. You need to build the ability to make a decision. Then we go on to number 10, persistence. Keep that engine going. Keep going. Keep going. You're better than you were yesterday, I promise. Okay, principle 11, mastermind. You cannot be the expert in everything. A jack of all trades is an expert in none, right? Another thing Tom Singer says, you can't chase 2 pigs, right? So mastermind is just because you don't have all the knowledge skill, go out and find your circle. Once again, another book. Guys, another book talking about going out and finding mentors and finding your circle. You're the average of the 5 people that you hang out with. I got off the phone with the Johnson O'Connor Research Foundation today with my 1-year follow-up. And I basically told him everything I'm doing in the entrepreneurial world. He said, basically told me that's great. Those are your aptitudes. That's what you should be doing. Okay, invest in yourself. Mile 4, I think. All right. But then I said, well, I'm doing this, this, and this. And he said, you should focus on this. For instance, I'm the concept and idea guy. I love coming up with creative ways to advertise, market to the public. I love that. I get so many ideas are coming in about how I can make something more effective and give an emotional impact to my viewers and my customers. But when it comes to, let's say, web designing, I should find someone who's really good at web designing. That's what's called a mastermind. Or someone who's really good with numbers so they can do the financial planning. That's your mastermind. You don't have to be everything, but pinky in the brain. If you want to be the brain, get other people to be a part of that brain with you. And all right, guys, this is where we get into the little weird part of Think and Grow Rich. And some people actually put the book down at this point, but I'm going to go ahead and get into it anyway since this is a kind of a book review, but very slightly. One I actually do believe in. It's sex transmutation. Basically, the idea is that one of the most strongest driving forces of men and women is the desire to have sex. And most people basically waste that energy either physically or obtaining sex. So the idea is that if you kind of use that energy into something more positive towards your work, you actually could tap into what's called the sixth sense, which is the 13th one, which is basically an infinite pool of knowledge. Whatever you want to get from that. I do, having the bone structure that I do, I'm in no ways, giving myself praise, but it's just, there. I was a model. I chased women a lot. And it wasn't until recently that I actually got a consistent girlfriend. But it's not only that, I only see her once a week because she lives far away. During the week, I get so much work done because I'm not worried about finding someone else. I'm not worried about sex. And I do get a lot more work done. His idea is that you can actually transfer that sexual energy into like a higher conscious, whatever you want to get from that. Then the second one, then the second to last one is using your subconscious mind. Basically only thinking positive emotions such as faith, love, hope, and getting rid of negative emotions such as fear, cynicism, being a pessimist basically. It changes your actual way of thinking. And then the last one is the sixth sense, getting into that infinite pool of knowledge that he believes all geniuses pull from, that it basically lets out the inner genius within you. Okay, like I said, those last three, take with you what you will. But Think and Grow Rich, it is an awesome way to change your way of thinking. So I do suggest it, and yeah, Think and Grow Rich. It's going on the shelf, guys, right there. And I will be going over The Richest Man in Babylon very carefully next time, along with Gary Vaynerchuk's Crush It. We'll see you then.